is Mr. John Hoeft from the DAV.
Thank you, Ron. For you that were there yesterday, I have abbreviated my speech, so don't hang in there today. I'm sorry, but I get a little carried away. I'm here representing the DAV, Disabled American Veterans. I'm currently the Inspector General for the department. I was the commander back in 2010 and 11. I was in this building in 2008 as I was going up the chairs. Anyway, I'm located in Winnebago County. That's actually in Amro, if you know where that is. That's west of Oshkosh, about 8-10 miles. I belong to all the veterans groups in that area, and I belong to one in Milwaukee and one in Florida. But anyway, when they asked us to stand up with particular service organizations, I am an Army man. I went in October of '68 and sworn in Milwaukee. I served basic at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, and then on to advanced infantry training like most of us did at that time out in Fort Lewis, Washington. When I got to Benoit, flew into Benoit, I went to Long Binh, and then of course got assigned. Bob said filling the gaps for those that went home or that were either killed or wounded. I served with the 109th Infantry, first of all as 11 Charlie in the mortar platoon for 2 months down by Cantho, and then moved up to between Swanluck and Cu Chi, almost straight across in that area, and I carried the M60 for the next 8.5 months. I'm going to talk about the DAV a little bit, but before that I want to just ask the question to all of us, especially the Vietnam vets. Who is a Vietnam vet? You remember back in the 60s how young we were? What's happening to us? In case you haven't been paying attention these past few decades, after you return from Vietnam, the clock has been ticking. And I'd like to share some statistics with you. Of the 2,709,918 Americans who served in Vietnam, less than 850,000 of us are alive. Don't know about you guys, but it kind of gives me the chills. Considering this is the kind of information I used to read recently and a few years ago about our father's heirs, World War II vets and Korean War vets, not the Vietnam vets. We had over 47,000 hostile deaths. We had almost 11,000 non-hostile deaths. God bless those women that served with us, especially the nurses. We had 8 nurses that were killed. 8 nurses died, 1 was killed in action. 61% of us young men over there were 21 or younger. 11,465 of those killed were younger than 20 years old. Of those killed, 17,539 were married. Average age of men killed, 23.1 years. 5 men killed in Vietnam were only 16 years old. That's hard to believe. I heard about it in World War II, but not Vietnam. The oldest man killed was 62 years old. Highest rate death for the state was West Virginia. Wounded, we had almost 304,000. Missing in action, 2,338. And POW, 766. And we lost 114 of those in captivity. Winning and losing. 82% of the veterans who saw heavy combat strongly believed the war was lost because of lack of political will. Nearly 75% of the public agrees it was a failure of political will, not of arms. 97% of Vietnam-era veterans were honorably discharged. 91% of actual Vietnam War veterans and 90% of those that saw heavy combat is proud to have served their country. 74% say they would do it again. 87% of the public now holds Vietnam veterans in high esteem. I'm sure all you veterans, especially the Vietnam veterans here today, were proud to serve your country. I know I was. That last statistic I mentioned just now, 87% of the public holds Vietnam veterans in high esteem. That's now. What happened when we came home? You kind of forgot about us. We, our era, are going to carry on to make sure the young veterans, and I've seen some raise their hand today, that it's not going to happen to them when they come back from that war. We are there to support and help out. We all adjusted, or tried to adjust to civilian life, especially with the help of family and some friends, but also, where were the veterans organizations? We, as DAV, Legion, VFW, I belong to all of them, we're there with open hands to help these veterans. Nobody called on me. Nobody called on you back then. At the time, I personally did not join anything, but then finally, after I got some help, I started getting involved, especially with the DAV and the Legion. The DAV is about 95 years old. It's the third largest veterans organization after the American Legion and VFW. In Wisconsin, we got about 15,000 members, representing about 50 chapters. And you have a wonderful chapter right here. I've been here several times, and you got one right in your backyard. The DAV is a legacy of service and hope for the future, as our mission statement dictates it, fulfilling our promises to the men and women who served. Simple as that. We are dedicated to a single purpose: empowering veterans to lead high-quality lives with respect and dignity. We accomplish this by ensuring that veterans and their families can access the full range of benefits available to them. And it starts right in our backyard, and we have Rusk County Service Officer, who's our MC today. We are one of the few states that has veteran service offices in every county, and we have every county covered. That's our starting block. We need help, we go to them. From there, fighting for the interests of America's injured heroes on Capitol Hill. Just like the other organizations, we go there and work with the Senate and House committees on Veterans Affairs to let them know that we got concerns. And David knows that, being one of our senators years ago, how important it is and how we have to advocate the needs of what's our future and what's happening to us now, especially us aging vets. Fighting for the interests of America's injured heroes on Capitol Hill is very, very important. Don't forget your own state legislators, but I'm in D.C. quite a bit, working with the legislators. We have to educate the public about the great sacrifices and needs of veterans transitioning back to civilian life. And I think we're doing a good job of helping these veterans today. With the involvement in veterans organizations and being associated with other veterans, I think you all can contest to this, is probably the best therapy and healing of those mental wounds. Some of us were wounded in Vietnam, and most of us were wounded in different ways. But the healing of those mental wounds that have been stored in your body and mind for years, I think is helping by being involved with organizations and what you in Rusk County and yesterday Eau Claire County is doing. I am so applaud at what you people do here. We do a lot in Winnebago County, but not like honoring Vietnam Veterans Day. I want to thank you to all the veterans organizations for what you do for the veterans And thank you to all you veterans, wives, Gold Star mothers, and just friends of veterans. Thank you very much for giving me the time, and have a great day.